What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and I am joined by Degenerate Jay. And guys, we came up with this on the fly. I'm personally excited, as you can probably tell from my voice, but it doesn't change much based off these videos. But we're going to talk about Watch Dogs. So Jay and I, we're chatting it up behind the scenes here, and we're like, I said, Jay, were you back in the day when Watch Dogs was announced at Ubisoft's E3? Did you see that? Did you see when it first came out? And he said, no, Alex, but you know what? I really love the game. So I said, you know what, Jay? This is a video. So I want to, I think we both have very different perspectives of Watch Dogs, and we're going to try to label this whatever. I don't honestly have a definitive title in my head when we're recording, but we just want to talk about the original Watch Dogs, looking back at it right now. Now, I have played it since then. Jay, he just told me that he's playing it behind the scenes, so he's way more up to date than I am. Now, I've played 2. I've played Legion. We'll ask Jay, if he's played those or what's his opinion on where Watch Dogs has kind of gone from. But that's where we want to kind of steer this video. I don't know when this video goes up. I wrote it down personally for 4th of July, so if this does happen, God bless the United States of America. No, honestly, a happy 4th of July, everybody. Hopefully you guys are having fun barbecuing or whatever you guys want to do today. Jay, all his stuff is going to be in the description, as well as a pinned comment, his main channel, his second channel, his Twitter. Thank you, Jay, firstly, for being here and putting up with literally no prep, no talking about this behind the scenes, but thank you for being here.
I'm very excited to lose all credibility today, Alex, and have no one check out my channel because I'm going to defend Watch Dogs, so I'm very excited for that.
No. So, that's the thing, right? And I would agree with you, to be honest with you. I'm never going to say Watch Dogs is a good game. I won't even go so far as say good. So I've never given scores. I say like okay, good, great, awesome. Like those are kind of that's my vocabulary. It's not very ranged. I don't have a lot of range in it. But I don't think I would say Watch Dogs has ever been good, or like the first game. I can respect it more now than I could back then. But again, that's just because I was there. So I'll go over it quickly. I don't want to talk too much because I really want Jay to defend himself here. But I don't know. I remember seeing it. I'm sure a lot of people remember seeing it. That Ubisoft E3 was incredible. And Jay and I, we made a video for your channel, Jay, where we talked about like risk taking, right? That was a risk. Ubisoft doing that, and what they showed specifically, it was like, dear Jesus, this is like, this came out of nowhere. This is a perfect kind of game, right? This ability to hack anything. It looked so good. It was literally like the next gen consoles at the time were like designed. Ubisoft designed the whole conversation around like this. You cannot do this on last gen. This is made for next gen. This is that next gen game. And guess what, guys? I bought into it. I bought into it so much that I pre-ordered the game. I went there night one. It was the midnight release. I went there with my 2 close friends, and they actually, I think they bought T-shirts. They bought Watch Dogs T-shirts. I have a picture of both of them in the T-shirts. I don't think I did personally, and maybe I wasn't indoctrinated that much, but they played the game. They had the PS4 there at the GameStop, and they played it, and it was okay. I knew right then and there something was wrong, I'll be honest with you. And then I played the game myself, the next morning or that night, and I was just not impressed. It was like, what in God's name is this? So, and I told Jay this behind the scenes, whatever Jay's about to say, I respect the man. I respect him so much, right? He's a great guy. And no, I respect what anybody has to say about the game. It's just when you were lied to and betrayed that much, no matter what happens after, you're always gonna feel it. You know what I mean? That's my sense with it. I know Watch Dogs isn't a complete pile of garbage. I get that. I think I'll always call it that, though, because like I cannot mend those injuries that it gave me that night. Seeing what they promised versus what we got. No Man's Sky is one that comes to mind in terms of like lies, or Fallout 76 is a good one. A lot of Bethesda games, funny enough. But there's a lot of games that pop up when you think about that. For me, I've actually never gotten all that excited for those examples. Like when you say No Man's Sky, I was excited, but not as much as Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs was the game that I told everybody about. I was so ready for. It got me to such a high that no other game's marketing could do. And then it was such a low that, it was the biggest drop, like net loss that any of these games have done. So I'm going to shut up, Jay. You let me know, what you think about what I said, and you let me know what you think of Watch Dogs playing it now.
So here's the thing. I agree with you, actually, believe it or not, with like being lied to and stuff like that. The difference is if you weren't there, you know, like, so for me, I wasn't there at all. Like, I remember the Watch Dogs reveal vaguely. I've never really liked E3 that much, to be just point blank honest with you. I've always thought it was kind of a cringe fest. I think that they hype up everything at E3, and this Watch Dogs was announced sort of in this heyday of things being lied about. Ironically, to me, my issue with the Watch Dogs people holding on to it is I feel like people hold on to that and they don't hold other things to the same standard that they've held that one to, because it was so obvious, right?
Yeah.
The downgrade, especially because PC players were able to essentially restore the game on PC to what they acted like it would be. So it was doable. First off, that's frustrating to players, and I get that. But you know, there were a lot of other games in this range of releases, like Battlefield, for example, where they were just very blatantly running it on a PC and being like, "Oh, this runs on a PC close to the hardware that's out right now."
Yep.
You know, the console hardware that was staple at that time. Just these weird white lies type things and try and skirt around the issue. That does not mean it's okay for Watch Dogs to have done that in its promotion. But I'm just saying that it's held to that standard while a lot of other stuff somehow slipped by without getting that criticism even today. People hold on to that with Watch Dogs. And if you were there, I get being frustrated. I don't think I was. I think I saw that trailer uploaded like 4 or 5 months later. I don't think I saw it at E3. If I did, I didn't care. You know, when that came out and it was like that, I never played it. That's the other thing too, is like I never played the original Watch Dogs because people bought it and said it's disappointing. So I was like, oh, well, you know, I don't need to take people's opinion on everything, but like if this is disappointing and I didn't have much money at the time, I'm not going to buy it. But looking at the thing now as just its own product, I've been playing it on the Xbox Series X where it is enhanced. It has a better frame rate, and I think it looks very good. Honestly, this city, the city of Chicago in the original Watch Dogs, is very impressive to me compared to a lot of other stuff Ubisoft has made with its interactivity. And I've heard that it gets better in terms of the other games. So I haven't played them. You know, like I play through games in order. I can't just jump in. Really, I can't do that. So for me, I'm playing through the original right now on the Series X Enhanced, and I'm loving the world. I love how you get to check into hotspots. I like how you can change costumes. It's not as good as it should be with the character customization, but I still enjoy it. I like being able to hack people and going around and seeing like personal details about them, which again, I hear gets better over the course of the franchise. And I'm going to hit you with one even bigger than this because I'm sure I've lost credibility to some people by even liking this game. I like the main character. He's not perfect, you know, but I just find him interesting. I like his story. I like what's going on with him. I have watched some of Watch Dogs 2, and I find the characters in that to be fairly boring, to be honest, because they're just like stereotypes of millennials. So my issue with this series as a whole, again, as someone who's just playing 1 and who has seen clips of 2 and Legion, is that I don't like the idea that they took the criticism people had of this character's too serious. That was the big criticism about Aiden Pierce. And they just said, well, then let's make the character a joke. There's like no subtlety. You know, no one gives a shit about the character from 2. Sorry for swearing.
Okay.
No one cares about him. You know, to the point now where they're hyping up bringing back Aiden Pierce for 3. Like they are actually introducing him, and I think either Wrench, I think it's Wrench or T-Bone, back into it. It's Wrench. Yeah, so I don't know. Like, I totally get that I'm, you know, in the minority on this, and that's totally fine with me, and I respect what other people think.
Well, you know what? I'm really glad you were on it because, like, you bring up, firstly, like, insanely good points, and you and every time you're saying something, I'm like, man, like, I gotta zero in on that. So, well, here's the deal. Like, everything you said is right, and I look back, so I can't get over it, right? So I've said it so much. I mean, this is literally just like people are gonna throw me therapy sessions to get over it. So I cannot get over it. But when I look back at it, I respect certain parts of it like very highly, and I think like they've taken the franchise in such a different direction that sometimes I like, sometimes I don't like. But like, I don't know. Sometimes I almost want 1 back. Does that make sense? I hated 1 at the time. I hated the disappointment, but I almost want 1 back in a sense because, well, okay, so let's break it down. So you said character. Like, I hate him, okay? I'm never going to like him. I'm never going to like the story in 1. However, 2, I actually really like 2. I like 2 more than 1, but I like it because of the fun. And when you play it, you'll have to let me know behind the scenes. But 2 is just fun. It's just enormous amount of fun. There's so much more you can do. It's really, like you said, like the hacking and bringing everything to life in terms of what you're able to accomplish in the game. 2 cranks it up, okay? And it takes itself way less serious, and it, like you said, the story is just complete garbage. There is so much bad about 2, but there's also a lot that they improved upon with 1. Then Legion, and like you said, even with like when you look at people's like info and stuff, I almost love the simplicity of 1, because yeah, it does get more like detailed and you could say quote unquote better, but sometimes I almost wish we could go back, to like what 1, to be honest with you, what 1 was pitched at, like that idea, that E3 trailer, or that E3, because it wasn't even just a trailer, it was a gameplay. Remember, it was like a 7-minute presentation. I'll probably play it for people, during the video. Like, it was so good. And if we had that vision at launch, for 1, and we followed that, the series would be entirely different than what is. Legion is, like you said, Jay, not only does 2's characters suck and there really is no story, 3 is even worse because there are no characters. It's all generated. You know what I mean? Like, you recruit anybody. So it becomes such, almost like a joke, right? Where like they don't care. It's just all about hacking, all about, I guess, having fun. I would argue 2 is more fun than Legion, though. I was majorly disappointed with Legion. And I hyped that game up quite a bit on my own. So it's, I know people are probably, if people are watching this, firstly, and secondly, if you made it this far, you're probably thinking I'm clinically insane. And that's correct, because I hated 1, but I also, thinking about it, and when Jay kind of like pitches it, I almost love it. I almost love it, and I want it in place. I want the future of what 1 could have been afterwards in place of 2 and Legion, because it's just so much different now than it was. And I don't know, again, like I pumped myself up for Legion. It wasn't what I wanted. Do I want a 4? Yeah, but like I almost wish they'd just stop, and I almost wish that we could just go back to like what 1 was or what it was supposed to be and just kind of start there. But, Ubisoft thing, the worlds need to be massive. They need to be too big. They need to have too many things to do in them. Assassin's Creed has that issue, right? Some people love it. Some people love Legion. Some people really love the new Assassin's Creed. Some people don't love it as much. So, Jay, any final thoughts you want to say on it?
Yeah, so I'm not being a Ubisoft apologist here at all. Just to reiterate, I agree with you on the lies stuff. I hate that. I don't like any of that stuff, but I'm obviously looking at it years later as just a product, right? Not anything hyped or anything like that. It's dirt cheap now. No one cares about it anymore. What I will say, though, is that I'm actually excited for Legion in the sense that they have hyped up the return of Aiden Pierce, but it's going to be a little different, so like they are reworking the story apparently completely so that it makes sense around his character. Like if you want to play through the whole game as him, you can now.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was just going to be a expansion, but it's more than that. It seems like, again, they're taking that criticism to heart, like what you said. People have made that criticism that there's really nothing going on in terms of the story because of how it's all around anybody, and I've heard on Reddit the joke millennial McHacker thrown around about the character from 2. I don't remember his name. I thought it was Marcus, but I don't remember.
I don't remember.
But
they're so
like,
forgettable.
With 3, with Legion or whatever, I'm interested to see how that works. Now, I understand people who don't like Aiden Pierce, but I do think that, people can do whatever they want. I recommend giving it a chance, because I gave the first game a chance after everyone told me that it was disappointing. So my bar was very low. But I really enjoyed it. So for me, with Legion, with them reworking that story around a central character, and you still can recruit other people and use them too, and even still play through the character as Aiden, or through the game as Aiden if you want, all this stuff, I'm excited for that. I like serious stories more than silly stories. They're both fun. So I guess for me, I really got into Watch Dogs 1. It reminds me very, very much of the first Assassin's Creed, how it was just very serious and ground level and grounded in what it was. And I get that that's not for everybody. A lot of people don't want serious things or like overly serious things. And I get that. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm not trying to what would you say, straw man that, like that's not the only problem with that game, obviously, but the tone of that game alone is not going to be for everybody. But I'm interested to see how those tones mix, how they're going to bring back that character in the third one and also make the game around it. I will stop like yammering on because I know you don't want this to be a super long video, but overall I really like Watch Dogs 1. I'm a fan. I get people's complaints on it and criticisms. I hope that I haven't completely sullied my reputation here, but I think that it's sort of an underrated game, and from how it's seen, because of stuff around it, that I understand why people feel that way.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And one final thing I'll throw out there is Smashing Pumpkins are my favorite band of all time. They've been for a while. In that game, in Watch Dogs, they have a song. The soundtrack overall in Watch Dogs I think is pretty solid, but there's a song of theirs in there, and my cousin specifically, he never heard of them before, or if he did, he didn't like them. He loved the song. I saw lots of people on their like music video, like on YouTube, they said like, who's coming here because of Watch Dogs? So it was a really fun thing to see in the moment, all these people kind of flocking to my favorite band and being like, oh, this is a cool tune that, you know, they just randomly dropped in Watch Dogs. So I thought that's something that, if My Love Is Winter is the song, if you guys want to check it out. I'm not plugging the Smashing Pumpkins, but I guess I guess I technically could. All right, let us know in the comments below what you guys thought. Did you play it back in the day? Did you wait on it, maybe like Jay did, and play it closer to now? Let us know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on to this channel, and make sure you guys are supporting Jay in all of his places. His main channel, his Let's Play channel, his Twitter, all of it will be in the description as well as a pinned comment. Jay, thank you so much for being on this video with me.
Hey man, thanks for having me. I appreciate the backstab on my reputation. No, I'm just kidding here. I had a fun time. I appreciate it, and I like to get to talk to things about. Well, wow, I can't speak. I like to talk about things like this with you, so thanks a lot.
Yeah, it was an absolute blast, and it kind of came very spontaneously. Hopefully you guys liked it at home. Again, happy 4th of July, if it even is 4th of July. If not, just pretend it is, and we'll see you all on the next video.